What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with another Destiny 2 video. And we're going to be talking about prep for Season of Opulence. And we did speak about this before, and I remember saying there won't necessarily be a ton of stuff that we can do to get ready, but since then Bungie have announced that the raid will launch just 6 hours after the season begins. And of course that's on June 4th at 10 AM PST. So yeah, that's kind of urgent, with an initial power requirement of 715, which presumably goes up to around 740. So that's the raid side of things, but on top of this, we should be getting some other content in the form of a new matchmade activity for 6 players. And if you're not a raider, then this is probably going to be some of the content that you'll really want to get into. And for this, a little bit of prep certainly goes a long way, but there is a lot less work to do if you aren't worrying about day 1 raids and stuff like that. And of course, we do have different types of players. Some folks will go really hard and want to clear the raid immediately. Other folks will just want to relax or perhaps can't put that much time in. So really we're talking about how you can maximize your time to spend as much time as possible in the new content, you know, the stuff that we actually want to play the most. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, a rating below really helps me out. But now let's get into it. I always like to say this when we talk DLC prep, but there absolutely is no requirement to go into a mad rush if you don't want to, you know? You can take the content at your own pace. If you want to be really ready, then that's absolutely fine. But if you just want to take it as it comes, then that's also fine. Most of all, enjoy the new content, right? So we've mentioned this before, but right now in the game we have so many different Pinnacle weapon quests and exotic quests that there could be some that you're still holding on to and haven't finished yet on certain characters. Now for a lot of these quests, you can actually edge them to near completion, so you know, maybe leave a few kills or one objective on the requirements, and then finish it and turn it in after the content drop for higher power drops. And there are some that'll be relatively easy, and this is useful for any player, you know, whether you want to go for the raid or other content that you're interested in. And the kind of quests you can do this with would include Chaperone, Wishender, Thorn, Malfeasance, Thunderlord, and then you've got all the Pinnacle stuff, any of the weapons from this season, Delirium, the Oxygen or the Recluse, or stuff from last season as well, like Loaded Question, which is one I've got right here. If you still have those quests active, they are absolutely options to kind of edge and use to get power early next season. Another one that's worth a mention, and this came from a recent guide that Sweatcicle compiled, and I'll link that down below. It's especially useful if you want to get into the raid content. We'll talk about it more in a moment, but the Allegiance quest is another option with powerful rewards, right? So maybe you didn't complete the quest or you have it on a second character, edge it all the way to the last step, and remember, it does give a weekly powerful drop once you've done it, so get close to the last step, and you can finish it after Season 7 begins if you want that powerful drop. You can indeed do the same thing with the Xur bounty as well, so complete it up until the last step, and then after Season 7 starts, finish it off and visit the hall for the reward. Importantly, this can be done on a second character, so if you want to keep up to date on your main character, you can keep doing them week over week right now, but hold them on a character of your choice, and there is no kind of reset timer when you collect this bounty, which is good. While we're on the subject of bounties, as we've mentioned before, you can complete 20 bounties for Ikora, so she has the milestone to do that each week. You can go ahead and hold completed bounties right now because they won't expire as long as you've completed them. On top of this, Ikora's milestone will sometimes remember previously completed bounties from another week, but have them done nonetheless, and it means an easy milestone completion as well as more XP, so it's all useful stuff. Now also when it comes to bounties, Petra has a weekly bounty which gives powerful gear where you need to complete 8 daily bounties. So the recommendation is to actually complete 7 daily bounties right now. Make sure you get 7 and not 8 because it does actually bug out if you have 8. But after the reset and launch of Season 7, you can go grab the weekly and 1 daily bounty, complete the daily, and turn it in and you've got a powerful piece of gear. You can also half complete the Oracle offering bounty, so pick it up near to reset, get it to kind of like 50%, and then after reset you can finish it, and if you do that as well as running the Ascendant Challenge bounty from Petra, that'll get her milestone done at the same time. So that's actually a pretty efficient way to get a few powerful drops in kind of one loop there. And on top of this, Shattered Throne should actually return on the week that Season 7 launches, so a quick run through that could also yield some powerful rewards. Now, final couple of bounty related things right here. A good shout out would be to hold 3 clan bounties for Hawthorne. Of course, she has the powerful milestone to get 5,000 clan XP, and 3 of these bounties will actually hit that 5k immediately. So you can complete them now, hold on to them, and turn them in for a super fast milestone after Season 7. And of course, the Spider has a powerful bounty each week, the Wanted bounty, and the only shout here would actually be to keep Ghost Fragments ready to purchase the bounty. So if you have multiple characters, of course it costs 5 Ghost Fragments to buy the bounty, and you can now stack up to 20, so if you can get at least 15 Ghost Fragments, you'll be able to purchase that bounty immediately on all 3 characters. Also, it's worth getting 2 Ballistics logs for Ada 1. Of course, these come from the weekly bounty, so if you finish these now and turn them in, the Ballistics logs actually no longer disappear in our inventory at reset. Can hold up to 5 of them, I believe, as well. But of course, this is what you need to purchase the 2 powerful frames for the week. So get those done now, and you can get straight onto that pursuit if you want the powerful drop. And the good thing about the forge weapons is, of course, that you can choose to improve a low power slot. So because you can go for any weapon, you know, if it happens to be your heavy weapon that's really low power, you could pick up Hammerhead, and that's going to give you a better drop in that slot. So maybe something useful to do later in the power climb if absolute raid readiness is kind of what you're after. Now, another one that's been suggested would be a flashpoint completion. This isn't necessarily the most important, but if you complete a flashpoint and don't pick up the reward until after the DLC drop, you should be able to go get that one afterwards. As far as we know, this one works. Definitely not as sure on that one as, you know, all of the bounty stuff, because that's pretty much guaranteed. But yeah, something to consider if you're really going hard at all of this stuff. So any or all of these options are going to give you some significant power bumps early on and very quickly. And of course, that makes those first few days just a bit more efficient. If you're really serious about the raid, then you'll want to do pretty much most of what we've spoken about, because again, potentially up to 740 power towards the end of that raid. Something else on the subject of raids, Bungie will be disabling the Last Wish and Scourge of the Past raids until the Crown of Sorrow, which is the new raid, has actually been beaten. And what this means is that at least one team needs to actually beat the new raid before the old raids will be reactivated. And basically, Bungie are stopping folks from being able to use old raids in that 6-hour period before the new raid actually goes live. So, for Last Wish keys, for example, they won't be useful before the raid goes live. However, they're definitely still worth holding onto in general. You'll still be able to use them, it'll just be the case that you'll have to wait for Crown of Sorrow to be beaten. But if power is less of a concern, you can just do some of these, or, you know, if you see the opportunity, a particular quest or a couple of quests that you have left, maybe edge them, and maybe do a couple of other things as well. And alongside the fast milestones and drops that you can get, you know, naturally after the reset, you'll probably be able to gain 10 or 15 power relatively quickly. And at least then we can hopefully avoid any lockouts that could occur on any new content. But otherwise, of course, it goes without saying to try and keep as many planetary materials as you can for infusion, also save your enhancement cores, and infuse as late as possible in the process of kind of power leveling, so save materials for your best and highest power gear. On top of this though, keep your glimmer. We mentioned those ghost fragments, as well as ballistics logs, and also maybe worth picking up a few raid banners if you're going into the raid as well. Now, I spoke about Sweatsicle's kind of spreadsheet breakdown of the best kind of known strategy to power level very quickly after the reset drops, and I'm going to link that one down below, because they've done a really good job of it, and I'll link Sweat's Twitch channel down below as well. But this will be a guide to actually use multiple characters, and you'll actually start off on secondary characters, turn in things like the Zur bounty, finish the Allegiance quest and claim any rewards, then go do all of the Dreaming City stuff, and that includes the weekly that you've saved bounties for, as well as the Blind Well and the Ascendant Challenge. After that, any saved flashpoint reward would be the most effective thing, and that would be followed by picking up your clan XP bounties, and then a Korra's weekly milestone from the saved bounties, and then lastly, any Pinnacle or exotic quests that you have left, because they tend to give bigger bumps in power. So it's worth saving those until you've made a little bit of progress on your power level, but that would just be your first character, and that could probably be done in a couple of hours if you steam through it pretty effectively. Once you've done that on your first character, you can then move your highest level stuff, your weapons, over to a second character, repeat that exact same process, and then finally, once you've done the second character, move all of your highest stuff to your third character, which is actually your main. Then you'll be starting at a higher power level and repeating the exact same process again. And this should get you to some pretty competitive power levels within the first few hours. Of course, only really necessary if you're going very hard for the raid, but I'll link Sweatsicle's spreadsheet down below if you want tips for doing that kind of stuff. Folks from Redeem are definitely the way to go. But otherwise, I hope this overview has been generally useful for you guys. In terms of what I'm looking forward to and how I'm going to handle this stuff, I'll definitely do a bit of prep. I'm kind of waiting to see what the content schedule is going to be like on day one, what other content outside of the raid we're going to get, and then I'll kind of decide what I'm going to focus on the most. I really do want to get into the raid stuff, but if we have new stuff, you know, the new match main activity, new gear, maybe quests and other things going on outside of the raid, I would probably want to get in and, you know, see some of that stuff as opposed to spend the first few hours power leveling. That's just me. And I'm in the UK as well, so the raid launches at kind of like midnight. That would be like a 12-hour all-night slog. So yeah, I'm kind of looking to see what the other stuff's going to be like, but that's just me personally. Nonetheless, I'm going to do as much of this power leveling stuff as I can, because I would rather spend my playtime in the game experiencing as much new content as possible, as opposed to kind of looping through the older content and power leveling. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm sure you guys feel the same. I'm kind of waiting to see what Bungie reveal, and then I suppose I will plan my attack on Season of Opulence. But guys, let me know if the video has been useful down below. Credit to Sweatcicle for putting together that spreadsheet, and I'll link that one down below. If you've enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated though. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications, and I'll be keeping you posted on everything related to Season 7. But otherwise, thank you as always for tuning in, and I will catch you all very soon.